trying to move them in terms of their position and really understanding what are the motivating factors. And that's what we're trying to do, for example, with the Gen Forward data. Second thing, really quickly, is on the other side, there is significant vulnerability among, for example, African Americans, and I don't mean the other side, like there are only two sides, where young African Americans believe that, and for good reason, believe that they're not full and equal citizens. And I always tell people, while we could position both of those as being vulnerable groups, it's very different. African Americans are responding to a kind of systemic attack on the basis of the state, right? They see police as attacking them. They understand that there aren't educational and economic opportunities. And so their alienation is a kind of systemic alienation. The vulnerability or alienation you see from young whites is about the loss of power. And those are two very different things. So you're right. We could say they're both motivating people either to participate or either to exit, but they're not the same thing, even though they come from a position of feeling like I don't have what I'm supposed to have.
Cathy Cohen and David Knight, thank you so much. Before we cut for the break, for our listeners, if you're listening to this podcast, obviously you're interested in politics in Chicago. Where can people find the Race and Place report?
They can find it on the Gen Forward Survey website. So it's genforwardsurvey, all one word, .com. If you go to that website, there's a slider, but at the top, there's a menu. You just click on Race and Place. It'll take you to a page. You can download specific sections. You can download the entire report. You can see media reports on the report. So it's all there at genforwardsurvey.com.
Thank you so much. And we're going to be right back with Hot Takes.
Hey, UC3P listeners. I'm Thomas.
And I'm Nick.
In the United States, public faith in the military remains sky high, while trust in other government institutions sinks to an all-time low.
At the same time, fewer than 1% of Americans will ever serve in the armed forces, and the cultural divide between active duty troops and the civilian population continues to widen.
UC3P presents a new series, Thank You for Your Service, where we take a deep dive into the complex world of civil military affairs.
We'll address the politicization of the military, defense policy in the news, and the importance of staying informed in a democracy.
Join us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts as we explore how our professional military institution relates to the society it serves.
Okay, we're back. This is Chicagoland. We're here with Cathy Cohen and David Knight. All right, it's our last segment of the show, Chicago Hot Takes. All right, I'm going to start this off. What should all Chicagoans make sure to do this summer?
Well, just go downtown. I mean, downtown is fabulous. I would also say it's not summer, but you could bike the drive, one of my favorite things, over Memorial Day. So many things to do in Chicago.
Favorite classic Chicago food?
Chicago hot dog. Come on, David. Chicago hot dog. No ketchup, mustard, and onions.
Thank you.
I have not had that, and I'm terribly lactose intolerant, so I haven't had the deep dish pizza. Okay. So I'm really I'm worthless for this part.
Okay, so on that point, actually, I should say a real Chicago dog with celery salt, some tomato, the peppers, the whole thing. Yes, it's fabulous.
There's a place on 53rd Street. It's a Greek place, but it actually has a wonderful Chicago dog deal. It's like $5.50 for a Chicago dog, fries, and a soup.
I will have to go there.
Where is this?
It's called Antony's. I went for the first time like a couple of weeks ago. It's like behind the CVS.
Oh, really?
It used to be where the Pepe's was, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Actually, I just went there last night, and my friend put ketchup on his Chicago dog, and I was
and did you walk out? Did you say?
I said I think I need
your
to walk
former
away.
friend put
ketchup
on the Chicago hot dog.
Unacceptable.
Former friend Garrett.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to have a new mayor and a few new members of city council by this time next week. Which, if any newly elected Chicago official, are you most looking forward to following in the coming years?
I mean, let me just say, I'm actually interested in following all of them, in particular the mayor. I mean, I think there's so many kind of hopes and dreams about Chicago kind of pivoting and reimagining itself that I want her to do well because I want the city to do well. But I will say I want her actually to take seriously the voices of young people, in particular young people who have been in the streets and really kind of shaped a political agenda that helped get her elected. And so I think she has some work to do there to kind of bring them on board and to center their voices in some of the policy making.
First thing you tell a newcomer to Chicago to do.
I mean, I love, in the summer, I just love walking, the lake and just, spending as much time out there as I can, barbecuing on the lake. I love just going to the beach with friends. That is, I think, crucial, if weather permitting.
This is glass half empty, glass half full, right? I'm like, buy a down coat, a long down coat, find an apartment with a fireplace, and figure out like hat and glove wear so you stay warm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I like it. There's like summer and then kind of the logical, real true nature of the Chicagoan coming through.
And you might need that in the summer.
And we'll get different answers to that question based on the time of the year that we ask.
I bet.
Yeah.
Favorite Chicago sports team?
This is hard.
For our listeners,
I know.
David just rolled his eyes and gestured to Cathy to take this one.
Yeah, which I'm happy to do. I think I'm watching the rebuild of the Bulls right now. It's going to be exciting. We didn't get Zion, but that's okay. I feel good about. But the Bears are looking great also, and yeah, there you go. Can I just say one more? Let's also support the Sky,
yes, very
professional
true.
women's basketball team.
And what issues should Chicagoans be paying more attention to?
Thinking about what young adults said in the report, mental health is absolutely critical. And it was something that came out very clearly in across communities that mental health services, supports are not equitably available across the city, and that they're very much needed. So we know some of the, critical issues around sort of policing and violence and housing that people are talking about, but mental health is especially important.
Ditto from Cathy.
Yes.
Cathy,
You
want to wrap it up?
Okay, sure.
Go ahead.
Thank you for wrapping up on that note. And I wish that we had time to discuss all of the things that are noted in this report. And I definitely encourage anyone listening to this to go find it. We know some people working in the mayor's office this summer. I'm going to make sure that they read it. See if they can pass it on to some people.
Awesome.
But Cathy and David, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a really great conversation. Hopefully maybe another time, next new findings from the Gen Forward survey, we can have you back on for Chicagoland.
There we go.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you both.
You.
It was great.
Yeah,
Thank you for having
so
us.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much to Dr. Cohen and to David Knight for joining us today on Chicagoland. That was an excellent interview, and I really learned a lot. I hope that everybody who's interested in politics in Chicago generally, especially youth politics in Chicago, takes the time to dig into that report. We really just scratched the surface in our conversation today.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said in our conversation, it's very easy to find this report. It's accessible online. Just go to the Gen Forward website, and you can find a copy of this report there.
Just Google Race and Place Chicago, Gen Forward. You'll find it.
It's easy. You can do it.
We
It'll be
believe in
worth
you.
it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. This is Chicagoland. I'm Steve Crano.
I'm Kyra Sturgill.
See you next time.